Hey, Rubin here, and today we're talking all about the social anxiety attack. So this video is for you if you're getting these anxiety attacks, but it doesn't quite feel like a full-blown panic attack, okay? So I want to help you distinguish the difference here and help you understand what's fueling that social anxiety attack, okay? So let's not waste any time. Let's go right now. All right, so if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Rubin and I help individuals get relief from these social anxiety attacks. So the blank mind, the racing heart, the shaky voice, the feeling like you can't breathe, that's what this channel is all about. So if you want to stay connected, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification beside that so you know when I release the next video, and you can also follow me on Instagram. And before we get into this video, I just want to give you the opportunity to take your free masterclass, okay? So make sure you stay until the end and I'll give you the details on how to access that, which is going to walk you through the process for getting relief from and eliminating these social anxiety attacks. Okay, so it's very important to understand that both panic attacks and social anxiety attacks, or what I call social flashbacks, they both result from the same underlying mechanism going off. That underlying mechanism, you might have heard about it a million times. It's your fight, flight, freeze system, okay? And when this system goes off, it gives you these physical symptoms that you experience with both panic attacks and social anxiety attacks. So the blank mind, the racing heart, the feeling like you can't breathe, the feeling of being depersonalized and disconnected with yourself and you're floating almost above your body, the urge that you want to run and escape, okay? The feeling like you can't find your words and you can't be present within your body, okay? It's the same underlying mechanism that's fueling all of that. And I go more into depth in another video about each one of those physical symptoms one by one and why you are experiencing that particular physical symptom. So I'll link that up at the end of the video and you can check that out next. Okay, and so let's get into the differences between what's fueling these panic attacks and the social anxiety attack or social flashback, okay? And I'm very excited to give you the language you can finally use to describe your experience, to describe your struggle, okay? So let's get into this right now, because the panic attack, okay? What fuels that panic attack? Remember, it's the same symptoms, but what fuels the panic attack? It could be a number of things. For example, it could be if you're coming off of addictive behavior. So for example, let's say you were dependent on a substance. Maybe you consistently smoked weed for a long time, okay? Or you were drinking consistently for a long time and depending on that thing, or depending on a particular person, a relationship, a parent, a family member, something like that, okay? When you sever the ties, let's say you stop smoking weed, you cut off the alcohol, you cut off the porn, whatever that addictive behavior is, okay? And what does that do? It's going to bring up the feelings that that dependency was covering up, okay? And when those feelings come up, that could result in these panic attacks. Another reason could be just a buildup of general anxiety. So each and every day, your nervous system, it's desensitized and your breathing is disrupted from constantly feeling anxious, okay? And then your baseline levels of anxiety, they climb each and every day to a new set point. And when they reach a particular threshold, any type of stressor can send you into a full-blown panic attack. And then there's also individuals who just out of nowhere, they have that full-blown panic attack. And because that experience was so scary and terrifying, they develop this absolute fear every single day that they're going to have another panic attack. So this almost turns into a PTSD in itself, and then this starts to spiral onto ongoing panic attacks. Okay, so there's many underlying reasons that these panic attacks can happen. Now, a social anxiety attack, what fuels the social anxiety attack? Okay, so we just talked about this example where someone might have an initial panic attack, and because they're so scared and fearful, the fear is around having this panic attack again, that it leads to ongoing anxiety and panic attacks, okay? The social anxiety attack, what's fueling this whole thing is the extreme fear of being humiliated and embarrassed by other people, the negative judgments of other people. This is the underlying fear. And because this fear grows so big, you get so scared of another humiliating and embarrassing experience. Remember, it sets off that same underlying mechanism, the fight, flight, freeze system, which gives you those physical symptoms. So it could be you're in the middle of a work meeting and you're put on the spot to speak, and you're getting the heart palpitations, you're getting the blank mind, you're getting the feeling like you can't breathe. And so what's at the root of that intense, scary experience that feels like you're dying essentially in the middle of a work meeting or in the middle of a one-on-one conversation or in a group where people are just having fun and you're feeling this disconnection, okay? What's fueling that entire thing is your past experiences. So for example, what was fueling, when I used to experience these social anxiety attacks in the middle of work meetings, these social flashbacks, what was I flashing back to? Just like the war veteran, right? The war veteran, a loud noise could send him into this frenzy, into this completely altered state because it reminds his body of what he experienced in the war, okay? Flashes back to the war. So what was I flashing back to was when I used to get screamed and yelled at by my dad on the soccer field. Screamed at, embarrassed, humiliated every time I make a mistake, in front of a crowd, being embarrassed, feeling like I have no control of the situation, can't run, can't get out. I'm absolutely trapped in the situation and I have to take in this absolutely shameful and humiliating experience. So it's important to understand that when that episode flares up, you're no longer in the present moment. You've already regressed and flashed back to the past. You're no longer there in the present moment. Okay, so don't underestimate the power that these old experiences of humiliation and embarrassment, how much they still live within you. We had a 58-year-old father come through Trigger Free. He was finally able to give a speech at his son's wedding. It was his lifelong dream after 50 years of avoiding public speaking. Why? Because when he was 8 years old, he was put on the spot. He had a lisp. The students were putting him on the spot. They were embarrassing. They were making fun of him. He was getting bullied every time he read this paragraph. And in his mind, he still saw that paragraph. He was that kid that was reading that same paragraph. He remembered it to the T. And that being put on the spot feeling, that humiliation, that embarrassment, and that prevented him from doing the public speaking his whole life. He avoided any situations, any leadership roles, public speaking, situations where he would be put on the spot, okay, because of that past experience and the fact that it just brought up such overwhelming symptoms because that fight, flight, freeze system was going off. Okay, so it's important to understand that the past is not the past until you have resolution around it, okay? Until you've healed the past, it's going to dictate your present experiences. It's going to dictate your entire future. Okay, and if you're one of those people who doesn't, oh, the past isn't a big deal, I'm moving towards the future, and you know, I'm not one of those negative people that needs to go harp on the past. Well, how are your current results, I would ask you? How are your current results? Are you happy with them? Are you getting the results that you want? Are you able to speak fearlessly in front of people? Are you able to connect with people naturally and effortlessly? Okay, so if that's something that resonates with you, take the masterclass. I'm gonna link it below the video for you, okay? So take the masterclass. It's going to walk you through the process that my students and I have gone through, just like the student I just talked to you about, my student Scott. It's going to walk you through the 4-step process that's going to help you eliminate those social anxiety attacks so that you don't get any of those debilitating symptoms in those work meetings or when you have to speak in front of people. Or it's not going to make your mind blank out and keep you thinking of what to say when you just want to connect with somebody. Okay, you'll be able to do it naturally and effortlessly. All right, and if you like the video, please like and subscribe. And here's that other video that I was talking about that goes in depth into each of those physical symptoms one by one and explains why you're experiencing that particular physical symptom, okay? So thanks for watching this video and I'll see you soon, okay? I'll see you in the next video. All right, peace out.